Sean and Karen are going to help us set up a simple light system using a Transwheel 250, Mini Gresser 2, Dual Gem, Whirl 250, and we'll use an LTS stand to hang the lights. First, mount your clamps to your fixtures. Here we have an HLC that we're going to attach to a Whirl 250. Make sure you attach the clamp to the light securely. Now we want to mount it to our truss. You always want to make sure to balance the load on the truss, so we're going to do one side and then the other. Balancing your truss avoids the danger of tipping over. Proceed to mount all the other lights. Let's plug it in. We attached a 6-outlet tap to the trussing using plastic wraps to secure it. Make sure that the total amperage of the lights does not exceed 15 amps so you won't blow a circuit. A good rule of thumb is to divide the wattage of the lamps by 100 to get the amperage of the fixtures. If you're using 220 lights, divide by 200. After plugging everything in, you can turn on the power and adjust your lights. Focus the lenses so you can get a sharp image. You should also clean the lenses and mirrors for better output. Now loosen the center support and lift the truss. You might need help doing this while the other person inserts the locking pin. Now lock down the center support. Remember, do not over tighten. And we're done. Here's a light setup with a little fog in place. DMX 512, or DMX, stands for Digital Multiplex Signal. It is a protocol that can control 512 channels. Developed to simplify theater lighting systems, it's also used to control lights for DJs. Here, we have the back of a typical DMX light. This is the DMX in, where the signal comes from a DMX controller. This is the DMX out, where you use a DMX cable to link from this light to the input of the next light. DMX cables are used to connect lights together. They have a male and female connector to daisy chain the lights. Microphone cables will work as well as DMX cables as long as you don't do runs over 100 feet. You can save money this way. Here is the DMX address. You'll need to address each light so that you'll be able to communicate with each individual light. Upon close inspection of the DMX address, you'll find pin numbers listed, and each pin number corresponds with a binary code. Here's a simple way to understand binary code. See the pin number on the top and the corresponding number at the bottom? Start with the number 1 at the first pin. For binary code, double the digit to get the next binary digit. Example, pin 2 is 2, pin 3 is 4, pin 4 is 8, and so on. This is how it works. Here, we'll be using 4 DMX lights, which are connected to a DMX operator. Now, DMX addresses always depend on which controller you use. Since the DMX operator assigns 16 channels per fixture, we're going to start addressing the first light from 1 and add 16 to each additional light we connect. The first light shall have pin number 1 in the on position. The second light will be increased by 16. 1 plus 16 equals 17. Therefore, pins number 5, which is 16 in binary, and pin number 1, which is 1 in binary, should both be in the on position. The third light will be addressed at 33. Since 16 plus 17 equals 33, pins number 6, which is 32 in binary, and pin number 1 shall be in the on position. The last light will be addressed as 49, since 33 plus 16 equals 49. Pins 6, 5, and 1 should all be in the on position. We're going to demonstrate how to control all of your lights with DMX. We're going to use 4 DMX lights, an Avenger 2, Electra 2, a Snapshot 2, and a PP DMX 20L to control the non-DMX lights. To hang all the lights, we're going to use the LTS crank system. Follow the instruction manual on how to assemble the LTS crank system. Make sure that everything is secure. The first light is going to be addressed as 1, so pin number 1 will be in the on position. The second light will be set to 17, so pin numbers 5 and 1 should be on. The third light will be addressed as 33, so we'll need pins 6 and 1 on. The fourth light will be addressed as 49, so pins 5, 6, and 1 should be in the on position. This is the PP DMX 20L power pack. This is a switching pack to control our non-DMX lighting. You want to make sure your cords don't dangle, so try wrapping it around the truss. Now, we need to set an address to the PP DMX 20L. It doesn't have the dip switches, but uses digital addressing. To do that, we'll hit the mode switch. As you can see, it's set up for addresses 1, but we're going to go to 65. So we'll scroll to address 65 using the up-down switch. So here is our DMX light with the HLC clamp attached to it. We're going to securely mount it to the truss. Now we'll continue to mount the rest of our lights, and then we'll proceed to wire our lights together. Plug the male end of the DMX cable to the DMX output of the controller. Now the other end of the cable goes to the DMX end of the first light in the chain. With another cable, plug the male end again into the DMX out of the first light. Follow the same procedure for the rest of your lights and the PP DMX 20L. This is a DMX terminator plug. You plug it into the last light or equipment in the DMX chain so you won't get false signal return from your DMX cables. It is highly recommended that you do this for connections over 120 feet. Plug the DMX terminator into the PP DMX 20L. Now, let's plug in the power cables. And we're going to plug them into a power strip. Make sure that you don't plug in more than 15 amps to any power strip or per circuit. In our example, we're drawing about 25 amps. So we'll plug our DMX lights into one circuit and our non-DMX lights into another. Let's plug in our non-DMX lights into the power pack. Our first light is the Avenger 2. It'll be on channel 1. Our second light is the Electra 2, and it'll be on channel 2. On the third channel will be our Snapshot 2. Once you turn on the power, the DMX lights will initialize. This is where they set to the 0 position. Remember the tip where we said cleaning the lenses and mirrors will greatly enhance the effects? Now's a good time to do so. Also, adjust your focus by manually turning the focus knobs and looking at the gobo projections on the floor until they are nice and sharp. Now, we can crank up our truss system and raise the lights. Having 2 people will really make this job easier. Remember, when raising the truss, keep your rotation in sync, otherwise you'll get an uneven truss, which may lead to tipping over. And we're done. Here's a light setup with a little fog in place.